If it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island, hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Portions of this show sponsored by Route 22 Toyota.
My favorite group. Stone Temple Pilots.
Bringing it into the 90s.
Hey, but what's with the young hip kid music here? I want nothing before 1975. We could go.
You hate disco.
No, you know what you should start playing? You should play Grand Funk Railroad. There were some great super groups from the 70s.
Yeah.
That you got to touch on. I love that.
Grand
Funk, and there's another one I'm missing. Like Rare Earth is good.
Guess Who?
Guess Who? Yeah. Guess Who? Nah, not
Mata
really.
Hoople?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Maybe. Hey, it's 9:26. Piscopo in the morning. Joe Borelli's with us, and Frankie Five Boroughs is here. Joe, welcome. Great to have you in the studio, and we're on TV as well.
For the record, I love Stone Temple Pilots. I had a phase where I wore flannel, a lot of flannel.
Really?
I had the hair parted in the middle, but now it's thinning.
Yeah.
And I was into that whole Seattle Pearl Jam
Grunge,
sound, Nirvana. That was a moment for me. It was a
How
moment.
great was it when President Trump at the CPAC speech looked at himself and said, "Boy, I would watch that guy laugh, laugh, laugh." Turns around, he goes, "I can't stand that bald spot in the back. I've been trying like heck to."
That is the kind of self-deprecating humor.
I love that.
That I myself make. I was just very happy you didn't seat me over there with a light behind my head and the camera.
I got it for you. Hold on. I got it for you. You're going to laugh. This is the stuff.
Oh, boy.
I'm off my no.
Topics.
This
you get
is
that
the
at your
stuff-
friends at Fox News.
I tell you, I found this from Fox News. So if you're thinning, like I'm holding on best I can. I'm just shy of plugs now. One of these I'm going to get the whole plug. I want to make a deal with the station, do plugs. So if you see me with a hat on for about 6 months, you'll know what the problem is. But they give this stuff. It's called Topics. It's like hair filler. And they do it on. Well, the first time I use it, because I say, "Well, I'm thinning a little bit here." Boom! It's like on camera.
Angel dust coming out of the sky that they then apply. Now, would you know I'm wearing it now? Would you know? No one knows. No one knows.
They don't know. It's funny. It's sad that I carry it.
For the benefit of the listening audience, I right now look like the guy in those commercials who comes out of the pool and just wishy-washes his hair out.
Hair club
that's
for
what
men.
I look like.
Hair club
Although
for
I
men.
don't think
Slow motion.
I don't think it's waterproof Topics, so don't do it.
How's the baby doing, Joe? Your baby?
Very good, very good. He's 2 years old.
We were talking about staying in Broadway, watching plays, not plays, musicals, not musicals. Before we went on the air, you have to sit through those kids, all the Disney stuff you have to watch.
I know.
And you have to sit there and you will have it memorized.
I know Rachel's at work, so she's not listening, but she's dying for me to take her to Disney on Ice, which it's like $100 a ticket. Not only do I not want to see the Disney stuff, but I don't want to see figure skating. Now you're combining, and these are all like the Olympic, the ones who didn't quite make the varsity team, right? So I just watched. I just watched figure skating, right? You saw the Adam Rippon. He's out there doing great. Why would I want to see someone who's not as good as him in a costume? But of course. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
You're gonna go?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna do it.
Oh, you are good.
And that's that. And
I don't know that I did Disney on Ice. I don't think I did Disney on Ice. But if I go between you and I, and we always appreciate all the great work that Disney has done. But if I go to Disney World one more time down in Florida, it's just I got to go to Universal now. So I try to always talk, Charlie, go to Disney. You got to do the Mickey Mouse thing. But after a while, it drives you crazy.
My wife and I priced it out, and
good point.
we priced it out. It is cheaper for us to go spend a few days in Champagne in French wine country and then do 1 or 2 days at Euro Disney than it is to go spend a full week at Disney with the parks, with the passes, with the things and this and bands and bobs and all this stuff I have no idea about, but I'm told you have to buy it, spend all this money.
Yeah.
Cheaper to go to French wine country, 3 or 4 days for mom and dad,
And go
2 or 3 days for Joe, and we go home.
That's great.
Way
Joe.
cheaper, but who knows if we'll go?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Disney cruise for the little one.
That's nice.
Mike
That's
Gallagher
nice.
did it. I think after 2 days, though, I'm going to want to jump
I
off
said
the boat.
they need the Joe Piscopo cruise. Everyone on AM
I know.
has a cruise. And
Excuse me,
you can do the
Frankie, did
Disney
you get that invitation?
Still
to
waiting.
Hawaii?
I moved recently. It might have been sent to my old address.
Yeah, and who's really, I don't want to say we're doing very well, but by the grace of God, we are doing very well for the Salem Radio Network. I'm not invited to nothing. We're like the black sheep. They go, hey, those guys in New York, Those Italians in New
I'm
York.
sure we could fill up a cruise with those Australian, the big Italian family from Australia, the ones that got kicked off. Did you see that news story?
Yeah, but that
fight?
fight went on that boat for like 6 days.
Right,
Like,
right.
Why wouldn't you have
What's with
turned the
those
boat around
people?
after the first day, put them in port, and throw them off?
After 6 days, is it a fight or is it a siege? Like, is it
It
actually
must be. I'm the captain
Right.
now. I mean,
Captain Phillips.
how does the staff not go? Again, we got to deal with these people. Like every day, they were getting into a fight with the staff
And
on
apparently,
the ship.
there's no law and order on the high seas because all
Right.
these boats are registered in like Liberia.
Right.
So there's full-on combat, and there's no prosecution. or
Why was
anything.
there a fight on the boat? What was there a fight on
It was
the
a,
boat?
a rowdy Australian family, apparently. There was, 15, 16, 18 people.
Those
It was a Senate family.
Australians.
I
Those
guess they were
Australians.
drinking, and they were getting into fights with other patrons and then with the crew. But it didn't stop after one day. It went on for like 5 days before they finally docked the
You
boat.
could go to the Bronx. For
It was
that.
it was over a fight over a parking spot on the buffet line. I'm told, in Bronx tale fashion.
931 Joe Borelli. Joe, I tell you, I don't know what it is. I said to Frankie earlier, I'm feeling not a lull, but the horror of Parkland, and then now the memo madness, which is comical. At this point now, as I try to translate it, it's comical.
When everything is a scandal, nothing is a scandal.
Yeah,
So I'm
good
writing a
point.
piece for The Hill. It was right before the memo came out in Parkland, so I'm going to have to update it. But the premise of this piece I was writing was The Boy Who Cried Wolf, Chapter 2. Right. The second part of that story. Do you remember what happens? The villagers stop paying attention. And that's where we are right now. So the media has been
great
the boy who cried wolf.
analogy.
The boy who cried wolf. Even if President Trump had a real scandal, real one,
yeah,
and the Rob Porter thing, what was really a scandal? That would have been covered if it was Obama, if it was Bush, anyone. But President Trump has a real scandal, Fast and Furious, and just no one would care because everything, Omarosa, you have everything. Everything is a scandal. Everything's sensational. Nothing is news.
Do you know that gal, Omarosa?
I've met her once or twice.
What was she doing there? And how do you turn your back on someone who's given you so much, like the way Donald Trump gave to this gal? How do you turn your back like that? She's not
Trump
Italian,
doesn't
I know
listen-
that, huh?
He doesn't listen to advice. I have to imagine, but this is one that he should have listened to because I'm
He was
sure
just trying to be a nice,
someone said "Don't
fatherly
hire her."
guy, and then she hung out, and John Kelly got her. I mean, right? Yeah, General Kelly.
That's the story. I mean, just thank God she's gone.
All right. So you did Fox News this morning?
I did, yeah. That's why I got the topics in my head. You think I paid for that? They don't pay me Joe Piscopo salaries to buy my own. That's like $15 a bottle. That topics. It's gold dust on your head.
You're the best. They put the toppings in, I know. And you know what I love it with those makeup folks, God bless them at Fox, they don't blink.
No,
Could
no.
you take care of this? Yep, what do you need? Oh, boom, bang, bang, bang. I need surgery. Boom, bing, bing, bing.
That's it.
I'm looking for Botox when I go to surgery next. So whose show were you on this morning? The
I
guy?
was on Fox and Friends with Ainsley and a colleague of mine, Keith Powers from Manhattan. Nice guy, Democrat.
What were you talking about?
We were talking about the state constitution and how the Democrats are trying to amend it to make non-citizens a protected class. Right now, state and federal law, you're protected by gender discrimination, sexual orientation, ethnicity, all the good stuff. Now they're going to add non-citizens to that list. So, whether you are the local, company or whether you're the town police department or whether you're the government, you can't discriminate based on someone's citizenship status. The police department can't not hire someone because they are not here illegally.
Joe Borelli, you're in the middle of it, man, in New York City. Why? And I listen, and we both all come from another place, and my grandparents came from another place, and I'm the grandson of immigrants who could barely speak English. I understand we were Dagos and Wops and Guineas when we came here, and we were prejudiced against. Why are we so hell-bent on protecting before us, before the taxes, before taking care of us? Why are these politicians, particularly the progressive left, so hell-bent on protecting illegal immigrants?
But it's upside down. So the president gives them, here, we're going to do DACA. We're going to actually legalize these. It ends up being 1.8 million people. And it's still not good enough because it's never about meeting the policy goals of the Democratic Party. It's about resist Trump. This issue is in the news because it's become an issue in the state Senate race up in Westchester County. Right? Westchester, out of 2,142 counties in the United States of America, Westchester, if you're listening, you are number one in high taxes. So one of the people proposing this amendment is a Senate candidate, Shelley Meyer. The way New York State is constructed, the counties are the ones who pay for all these benefits. She's basically saying we want the taxes to go even higher for people in Westchester so we can protect undocumented, and not even undocumented. We're talking about British expats. Anybody who's in this state physically is now a protected class.
That's unbelievable. The taxes are unbelievable too. Do you like it in Jersey? I have to ask you this. 9:35 with Joe Borelli in Jersey. Now they're going to make it a charitable donation. All these salt taxes are a charitable donation. But what they forget to tell you, the IRS commissioner has to determine if indeed it's a charitable donation. So when you take that write-off, is this a charitable donation? Is the pension and welfare, is the paying the cop, is paying the school administrative costs?
It's a tricky subject because we have some parochial schools that are trying to do the same thing, where they want a portion of their tuition to actually be a donation to the nonprofit that supports the school. That would be tax exempt.
But that's a
the
church.
truth is, I'll be so high next time I'm in Jersey. By the time marijuana is illegal, I won't even know.
No, you won't.
I won't even hit the potholes.
These are the searing issues, right? They don't even think. They don't even think. Let's lower the taxes. That's not even an issue. They don't even put it on.
But you elected him. You Jersey. Phil Murphy, intellectually honest. I'm going to raise your taxes, and people voted for him. People voted for him.
That's true. He did. He said he was going to do. It's a sanctuary state, stoner state. Absolutely. Before we let you go, should we put armed guards in schools? Should we arm the teachers? Joe Borelli, where you stand on that?
I think it's an option that we see more and more schools doing. We can, beg, borrow, hope, plead, and wish that all guns would be eliminated. But number one, it's not going to happen. Number two, the motivations for people who want to, sort of limit the Second Amendment are not necessarily one and the same with those trying to protect children in schools. And I think when you have teachers who would opt in, some of them would take advantage of it. We used to have a teacher in my high school was a retired cop, and I'm pretty sure he carried a gun every day of my life. And you know what? I was no more safer, or rather no less safer than I was the next day. And Mr. Rhodes, if you're listening, I knew you would have acted. So thank you.
Yeah, he had the piece like that. What is this? What is this resistance as art in the age of Trump?
Well, amongst the very important things the council will be considering,
this is real.
Yes, will be whether publicly funded institutions, great places for the most part that we give public money to, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, et cetera, all these wonderful institutions, whether they should be looking at art as a way to resist the Trump agenda. I mean, these are 501c3s.
God,
right? They're not supposed to be political.
Oh my God!
And I don't remember them doing anything for Barack Obama. I don't remember there ever being some art. I was the victim. I think you have the picture of me on the cover of Village Voice.
That's right.
I was the victim of anti-Trump art. But this is what the city council is prioritizing. Not the closing of Rikers Island, not the fact that we have mice in our school cafeterias. But we're going to make sure our publicly funded art is there to do anti-Trump stuff.
Joe Borelli, Councilman Minority Whip of the New York City Council. So you're going to run Congress or Senate, Joe? What are you thinking? You're a young man. You got a long, great career. We love your common sense politics. What do you think, Congress or the Senate, or maybe something in the state like governor?
I don't know. I think I'll be running for the border more than I run for anything else in the real soon future. We'll see. We'll see. I love what I do. That's not just the hacky thing to say. I actually do love what I do.
Yeah, you do.
I got the chairmanship of this committee that has oversight over the FDNY, which is like I'm a fire buff, so this is great.
Yeah.
But in truth, who knows? I like the media stuff. Maybe you'll replace Frank with me someday.
Yeah. Sure. Joe, you're welcome here anytime, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Your hair looks great. Joe Borelli right there. And he had a busy morning, kind enough to join us in the morning. We always appreciate that. Joe Borelli. 9.
Everybody knows this guy. Now, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.